Well, no fun or fancy intro for this one. It's just me talking to you. There's a lot of things I haven't addressed that I realize I need to. I want to thank everyone that's emailed me to kind of nail me on these questions so that I can answer them the best way that it's possible for me to do that without, creating any sort of issues. I've got notes because it's based on emails. The issue relates to dosing for Morgellons with SSKI. I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell people how to do that. I cannot advise on that. But I do have notes from other doctors that can explain that problem, because if you're one of the people that watched me go through that whole process of using SSKI, you'll know I had dosing problems. And there's some confusion about that. And I've never really touched on that, and I need to. The issue is that you'll remember I followed a document from a Dr. Hassan that described a protocol for using SSKI to treat sporotrichosis. The issue is that they described in that document using up to 50 drops per dose, 3 times per day, of SSKI to treat for sporotrichosis over a period of several weeks, up to 6 months, I believe. And the issue, as described in the NIH document, now I'm going to link both of these documents in the video description. I know you guys don't like reading, and you don't like links, and you don't like descriptions, but it's really important that you look to the NIH document and get an understanding of using SSKI if you intend to do that, if you intend to take it internally as a treatment for Morgellons or as a supplement, or for any reason that you might want to use SSKI. It's important to make sure you don't have any conditions that preclude you from being able to use it. That's the first thing that you need to understand. The next thing is this. Now, I tried to follow the protocol as described by Dr. Hassan, up to 55 drops per day, whatever it was, 50, 55. And I took that, I did that, and it was very hard on me. And I discovered through the NIH document in the portion titled Presentation and Dosage, I've actually printed out the website here, that the problem in the Hassan document and all the documents really, all the scientific documents that talk about using SSKI to treat sporotrichosis, they describe an SSKI that is 0.05 grams per 0.05 milliliter drop. And the issue is that a true SSKI, that is not correct information. In a true SSKI, a single drop from a 0.05 milliliter dropper will contain 0.07 grams of potassium iodide. So you can see there's a substantial difference between what is described in the available documentation between 0.05 grams of potassium iodide per drop to the 0.07. So I was taking an incredible amount of potassium iodide, way more, and that's why it beat me up so bad. In my experience since then, I found that taking potassium iodide should not be an unpleasant experience particularly. Okay, and to go back further here to talk about some of the things in these emails, I've been having to recover my own experiences because that's all I can speak to, because I'm not any sort of medical professional. I'm just the dork that got lucky and found SSKI treats Morgellons. One of the issues is the actual dosage, and what we can look to for that is again described at the NIH document on that's linked below this video, that's on potassium iodide in dermatology. And at the end of the day, what they discuss, this is a Brazilian doctor who actually uses SSKI for treating sporotrichosis, because there's an outbreak of sporotrichosis in Brazil right now. It's an epidemic. They suppose it is spread by cats. And what this doctor, whose name I don't know right off the top of my head, suggests is that administering 20 drops of the true SSKI solution 3 times a day, the daily intake of potassium iodide is approximately 4 grams. Do you understand? By taking 20 drops of a true SSKI solution 3 times a day, the daily intake of potassium iodide is approximately 4 grams. And that is the recommended top dose, according to this doctor, to get 4 grams of potassium iodide into your system per day in treatment of a condition such as sporotrichosis. So from there we can say that the rest of the treatment for sporotrichosis could be correct, in that you would start with as many as 5 drops 3 times per day, slowly working your way up to 20 drops 3 times per day, based on how you're able to tolerate the potassium iodide. I've had questions about my later experiences and how they compare to the documentation on using SSKI to treat sporotrichosis. Well, I obviously learned the hard lesson is that I was taking much too much, and that was really unpleasant, as evidenced in all those videos I made. I knew that I was getting well regarding the Morgellons condition, but man, it was brutal, and there's no reason for it to be that. It was simply that I was overdosing. And what happened to me is I developed a sensitivity to the potassium iodide because I was taking such massive quantities that I couldn't take it past the point where I stopped. I could take about 1 drop a day. And you might ask why that's important. Well, it's because, in my opinion, my experience, I took the potassium iodide until all the internal symptoms of Morgellons subsided. I'm basically of the opinion these days that it is very much like sporotrichosis. Not saying that it is, because I obviously have no way to know that, but I believe it's an infection of the lymph system that affects the thyroid. That's where all of this chronic fatigue and all these strange pains and things come from, and the skin is just a symptom along with all of that. So when the internal symptoms subside, and you're, over a period of months actually, what I did was drop my dose way down, and I would just take a few drops a day and compare it to how my lesions were reacting to that, and treating topically with the turmeric cream, like I talked about in the videos. But the thing is that treatment, that secondary treatment for the skin condition, is going to go on for a substantial amount of time, because your body can't absorb all those strange fibers and things that are in your skin. They're going to come out of your skin, and that just takes time. I just had one come out of the end of my nose, one of those translucent yellow fibers. I've never had any symptoms of Morgellons on my nose, but one of those came out of my nose just the other day. You can see I've got a little spot on my forehead. Some little fiber came out. I'm free of the condition. I'm out doing what I do. I'm doing heavy work. I took this off by myself. I'm getting my body back in shape. I'm going to have to quit smoking. That actually matters now. And, well, just moving forward, I feel like it's important to get this confusion solved about the dosage difference between what is described in the documentation and what the reality of a true SSKI solution is, so that people don't have a horrible experience like I did if they should choose to use SSKI in the treatment of Morgellons. I'm sure that's not my last word on this subject, but I felt like it was important to touch on this issue, and I'll get back to you as soon as I feel like there's something important enough to discuss regarding Morgellons. But other than that, I'm going to have to get on with my life and get back in shape and get back to doing what I do. I'll see you soon.